Hey everybody, Dane here. Just want to take you through a quick video on how I make a trestle style table base for my dining tables. I'm going to be making that out of some 1x3 inch hardened steel. So I'm going to take you through how I cut it down, weld it up, and show you what I like to do and how I like to make them. So stick with me and enjoy the video. Alright, so as you can see, I cut my steel outside. It's not super glamorous, but at least the steel shavings don't get everywhere on my floor. Sometimes my dog comes out, and I just don't like steel on the floor. So I cut it out here, falls on the ground, in this pile of leaves, no problem. I cut all of my steel with the Evolution Rage 3, and then I have the 10-inch steel cutting blade on it. The original blade that came with it, total shit, don't use it. So the steel cutting blade, it works well. Depends on the thickness and the steel that you're cutting. Flat bar, it really eats it up, but I found that it works all right if you're cutting square tube, rectangle tube, that sort of thing. I make my trestle bases out of 1/8 inch thick 1x3 steel tube for the legs, for the feet, the legs, and then the trestle in the middle is 14 gauge. So just to cut down on weight. So you'll see I'll cut down all the steel, and hope you guys enjoy it. As always, wear safety protection. I double up. I wear these sweet safety glasses. I've got a visor. I've got these earmuffs, because getting steel in your eyes would really suck. So don't do it, and enjoy.
Alright, so as you can see here, I'm just cutting down my stock with the Rage 3 Evolution. It's a great saw. I love it. The blades wear out, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, kind of fast depending on what you're cutting. But the key that I've found when cutting steel is to make sure that you've got it clamped down solid to the piece, and then once you make the cut, let the blade stop completely, because you don't want any kickback. I've actually had the clamp kind of wear out on me. It's just a threaded rod that goes in, and it has a little foot at the end, and just based on the clamping pressure that I actually apply just to make sure it doesn't move, it wore out within the first 6 or 8 months. So I contacted Rage, and they sent me another one and another fence. So that was really great.
Alright, so I got my steel cut, and now I'm going to grind off and kind of clean up the surfaces where I'm going to weld. It's really important to have all the mill scale, any oil, any rust, anything like that on the surface that you're welding to, just to make sure you get a really crisp, clean weld. Sometimes some guys say it's not really worth it, but to me it only takes a few minutes, and just to make sure that I have the best weld I can get. So I'm going to line up all the cuts and just see where we are.
Here I'm just grinding down with a paint stripper wheel I got from Home Depot. Works great, better than sanding discs, flap discs. Just makes quick work of it, as you can see here.
Okay, so I've got my stock sanded down, cleaned up, ready to weld. I'm welding 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch, so I got my welders set respectively, and just gonna have at it.
So I align the pieces where they need to go. I use these magnet clamps to hold everything solid while I tack it in, and I only tack the corners at first just to make sure everything is square with itself when I lie it down. Just in case there's any wobble before I bead, I can grind it down and get the wobble out of there. And then I bead it up, and we're good to go.
Just want to show you some of these welds really quick. Really clean, nice welds. This is why I clean the weld spots, mainly just to get a really clean, spatter-free pretty much, because it's not really gosh, there's not much spatter at all. I mean, there's some there, but you're gonna get that. This is MIG welding. But I got some nice beads going. You see the other side. Good heat penetration here. Got a Millermatic 211, upgraded from a Hobart. This thing's killer, so alright, stick with it, keep watching.
Here I'm beading the ends, making sure all the connections are good and the welds are good, and then I move on to the second leg, tack it up, and make sure it doesn't wobble. Before I bead it, and then we're on to the trestle.
Okay, so I've got the 2 ends welded up. I'm gonna attach the trestle, and then this baby will be good to go.
To mount the trestle, I use the magnet clamps on here, and I measure it out, make sure it's all level with the floor. I work in a garage, so I have to make sure it's level with the fall of the floor, obviously. And I just tack it up. As you see here, I'm beading one side, and then I bead the other side. And then what I do is flip it over and do the same thing on both. And then I make sure it's level again. bead the top and then bead the bottom of all 4 sides just to make sure everything's as secure as it can be.
Alright, so as you can see, we have our completed table base here. Trestle in the middle, top, bottom. I've leveled it out relative to the fall in my garage, so it's perfectly level. Normally what I do is I drill out the holes to mount the tabletop underneath it pre-welds, but this time I just kind of forgot, so I will do it post-weld, no problem. So the next step is to clean this all of the mill scale, get it all off after I drill the holes, make sure it's clean, ready to go, and then I put cork on the bottom. So small little 3x3 squares of cork pretty much to make sure it doesn't slip or scratch the floor on any surface wherever it winds up. So that has been the table base. Only took about 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. But this is how I build a trestle style table base. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, just hit the like button at the bottom. Add me, follow me, share it. Anything you can do to help get the word out, I would really appreciate it. And stay tuned for some more videos. Thanks for watching.